Welcome back. In the part 1 of the tutorial, we explore how we can install a Joomla website and use default theme. But now we want to change our theme and environment. So there's a software we call Artistia. Artistia is one of the theme creator that you just click one or two theme, do some editing, and use it for you export it and use it on your website. Now these are the templates. Let's say you are connected to the internet, you will have more access to some free online templates that you can use. But now I'm not connected to the internet, so I have few templates here. Okay, let me click on this as a sample of okay, this is the template, and you can see each page is at different style. This style articles, these are article styles, and testimonials, and about us, then the contact us. So this is a style. Now let's assume that the style we have here, I'm okay with the design, but I need something like a flash, a slide animation. So from the home tab here, we have suggest design. When you click on suggest design, everything we have here, all what we have here will change. So let me click on suggest design now, and let's see how it works. You can see that it has totally changed everything that I have on my page now. Suggest design. This Joomla theme creator Artistia is very good for beginners who doesn't have much knowledge about graphics, and now it works. So as I'm suggesting, it's bringing up an entirely entirely themes and design. So that is how it works. There are thousands of themes that you can actually bring out from this. So that is from the home tab, and let's assume the theme we have here is okay, but the color combination is not what we want to use. You can also suggest color, which will change the color to an entirely new color. So that's about suggesting color. I think I'm okay with this color. You can also suggest fonts. Font is the text, so you can suggest fonts. Now okay, I can also suggest the layout of the page. So if you are okay with what you have here, you can still suggest. Well, there's what we call undo here. Just like what I've done, I want to undo it to return it back to its previous state. I can undo, I can still undo. So to have something like this. Now this is background. We have another suggest here, which is the background. Background is talking about the background of the page. I think we have a white background. So go back to home tab. I can say suggest background. You can see that the background has been changed. So you can see suggest more background, suggest more background, suggest more background, suggest more background. So that is the issue of a background. Okay, let's say I'm okay with the background I have here now. Okay, I have header. Header is talking about this red side, the area at the top here. You can suggest the header. You can see now it's giving us another inspiring header. So one thing about this header is this: the header of the page is where we have slide banners and animation. Now let's assume on the header now. Okay, from the home we suggest the header, but the header image, this is the image. You can still suggest header image to change the image to another thing entirely. You can see that the images has been changed. So when you suggest an header, you can see this is the header image. Okay, now all these pages are grouped into section. Now let's assume this is the header part of the page. Now once you click on the header part of the page, it moves you from the home tab to the header part of the page. I'm home here, I just click on the header part. You can see now, so this is the background. So these are different type of background that the suggest is suggesting for us. And after the background we have another thing called color. Okay, we have the suggest header here too. Now the position of the header, if you suggest the header will be changed again. Let's look at the position. The position of the header is to the top side of the page, and you can see the navigation bar. So it depends. If you want to take the navigation bar up, the navigation, nutrition, lifestyle, articles. So if you want to take it up, you can use this. So that means you are bringing the header down. Okay, you can use this. So after that we have what we call, those are what we have on the position. We have length, that's talking about the length of the header. So I want it to be page width. That means the header will be restretched to fit the entire page, but I want the length to be sheet. So that means it's going to be fit into the sheet. Then we have the height. The height is suggesting the height of the header, so you can change the height. And one thing about all this thing is if what you have here is not the size of your banner, you can go to more height and customize the height of your header here. You can type and you can use this slider and so on and so forth. So that is what we have there. Okay, that is the next thing is the fill color. You can see that the image you have here did not cover this red part of the page. So any image that does not cover the whole part of the page, then the color will take over. So let's say I want a transparent color now. Okay, I've used white now, but one thing is this is a shape entirely. This is a shape entirely, and it's a red shape, so you can delete and remove it. That is why this thing did not affect it. But let's assume that the image did not cover the part. So okay, let me just do something here. Let's say from what we have here, I did not use any photo, so you can see that my background will be changed to the color I use there. Okay, that is on that. But I've used white, and I don't think I need this shape, so I'll click on delete from my keyboard. So I don't need a background. And from the image here, that is where this image comes from. So you can insert another image. Let's say it depends, there are a lot of images, and you can search for image online. So the image that comes with the theme is here, and I don't need it, so I'm deleting it now to change it back to my own image. As this image is concerned, there are a lot of things that I can do with it. I can give it an effect. I can recolor the image, turn into grayscale, position, align, that's align center. So I can adjust the size, so that is on that. Then I can ask it to have a shadow, but there are some image that will not allow you to add shadow. So I guess this one too does not allow to add shadow. Then I can flip. Flip is turning the face. So as I'm flipping now, it comes down to this side, to the other side of the page. So that is on that. Adding image. But let's assume the background you have here, you have designed your own background. You can bring it up from file, then you locate where you place your own background image. Let's say my own background image is from the desktop, and I have something like let's say I have a desktop folder here, and I have image temp. So let's say I'm using this as a background image. You can see that the image I have here does not cover all the parts. Okay, let me use the original image now. The image I have here does not cover all the part of the page until I use resize image. So you can see that the image has now covered the image. So from what we have here, we have effects. The one that we have on the image, it's an effect. So come down to the effect, and okay, we have texture. So under the effect, we have different category. We have radius. So if I don't want my header to have any radius, like I'm talking about the corner, the radius is talking about the corner, so I can simply click on no radius, so it will form a perfect rectangle shape. So then we have shadows. Shadow is adding shadow to the shape, and we have texture. So under the texture is where we have all these thing. So let's assume I want a texture like this to appear on the image. You can see what I have now. So the texture is where we can change, and you can decide not to use any texture. It depends. I can use this texture, and just like someone that is writing on the cloud, and effect and texture, and you might not use any texture. So for the image to appear as it is, and transparency is what makes the page looks a little bit transparent. Now let's say I have something like 70% transparent. That means it's going to fade the image. So the 80% shows the header image a little bit, and so on and so forth. But it depends. If you can customize your own to your own different size, and you see how it works. I'll be using no transparency. Now the image I have here, I have position of the image. Now when I reduce this, what happened is that it does not cover the whole page. So I'll just say resize image to header. So if we are to use any, because we did not design the banner for a specific size, that is why some of this thing is not showing. We just pick out an image. You can use any of your graphic application to design a complete banner with the accurate size of your header. That should be mentioned in pixel. So that is what we have there. Then I have effects too. Of course, I can still recolor the background and add effect. I can recolor it to form another thing entirely. That's on the background effect. I have something like this. So that's tinting the background. Then the blur. Blur is talking about you don't want the image to show very well, just like you are erasing it, and something like that. So that is what we have on the I'm using the normal image now. And then I have image, which is where I've placed this. I can click on another one to add another image. It depends on you. All depends on you. So that is adding images. So I have shapes too. I can also use any of the shape here. So I want my page to add a shape for me, just like the one we've used earlier. And if if you are using something like this, that means it's going to add a simple shape for us, or to the background of the page. Maybe you want to write something on the, so that is how that side work. Okay, still talking about the header. Now there is what we call slideshow. There are some websites that display slideshow. It depends on you or the people you are designing the website for. Some want their site to have slideshow, some did not. So let's assume you are in a situation of to create a website that has a slideshow. So you just click on new slides. Now, is it a blank? Do you want to duplicate the current one we have? So duplicate is just like copying the first one we have here, then from file or from online require you to connect yourself to the internet to browse the image from somewhere, or from file. So let me bring from file now. Okay, let's say I need something like this. I need banner. Okay, let me use a banner for my website. I open this, so I just resize to fill the page. So I'll click OK, then I'll click on new slides. From file again, take me to where I have the banner again. I have this. I'll ask it to resize it to fill the page too. Remember, because of the background color, that's why we are having the from file to, I have this. So because of the background color that we have here, any image that does not fit into the size of the header, the background color will replace all of that places until you resize the image to the header. So new from file, browse it, and then you use our empowerment. So that's a wetloader.com where you are purchasing this video. So from file, let me add the last one, which is branding. So you need it's part of our comfort developers services. Oh, sorry. Okay, let's assume there's a mistake like that. So all you just do is click on the image, then click on position. You can click on position. You can say resize image to header. So click on OK. Now all you need to do is come here and click on play, and let's see the effect. You can see now. Okay, okay, now let's say the motion, you want it to be dropping from top, so you can play. You see it will be coming up from top, and motion, and so on and so forth. You have left, horizontal, and okay, there's another thing we call navigation. Navigation is talking about a little dot here. Once you click on it, it takes you to another slides. So how do you want the navigation to be aligned? Is it to the top corner of the page? So once you click on the top corner, it should go here, so to go to the top side of the page. So but one thing about this thing is you've aligned it to the top left. Now as top center, if I'm not mistaken. So you have all other things to like taking it to the bottom. So the padding is talking about the before around the page. There's a padding of so if you are putting anything inside the banner, so it will put an empty space of 7 pixels inside this. We have fill for the navigation. I'm talking about the navigation. So if the field of the navigation you want it to be something like, say, let's say blue, so you have a blue color instead of this red color. So you can see now that there's a blue around the navigation. So if it's empty as this, so it will just be blank. And but sometimes you might want to use something like this just to show. Okay, let's use this. And because we need to work with we have the border around it. So this is the border width, that means no border. If you need something like border, it's just a line drawn around the shape. So we have the border, no border. So I'm removing the border now. So if you have a border width, then the border style will be active. So you can see the border style now. So the round edge corner is talking about the radius. So do we have radius here? So 10 pixel radius. I say no radius, that means it's going to appear in a rectangle form. So no radius. And we have the width. The width is talking about the float. Maybe you want it to fill the page, or the fix. The fix will only cover the area where you have the, so the fix will only cover the area where you have the navigation button. So this is the fill. Okay, we have shadow too, we have transparency. I have 50% transparency, so it's going to show you, but it's going to limit it a little. And we have shadow too. You can drop shadow on it too. You want it to look a little bit different from what you have on the page, you can drop shadow on it too. So we have bullets. We have the shape of the bullet, 5 pixel and 10 pixel, 20 pixel by 20. So it depends. You can just, let's use 15 by 15 pixel. So we have the radius. The radius is 10%, 20%, and 30. It depends. If you are turning to a circle, like I think 50% will work. So just to turn it to a circle like radius. So we're on bullet. The spacing is talking about the space in between the bullet. Let's use 5 pixel. So bullet, we have active. Active is talking about the one that the current one that is displayed on the page, while the passive is talking about all other ones. Now let me choose my active to be blue, while the passive will be something like red. So that means I'm on the last slide here, because it click on blue, it shows blue. So let me click and see on passive. Let me turn passive to a complete let me look for a yellow color. Okay, you just pick a color, and okay, that's a passive. So that I want it to be well differentiated from the active. So the active and passive. Then the over is talking about when you move your mouse on the shape, what do you want it to do, which type of color. I want to use green because I want to use different color, though it might not be ideal when you are designing a professional website. You don't need to use a riot color. If you look very well to what I have here, the color it's not too much rioting each other, so they look a little bit similar. So you see red, we see something like brown, and all other things white. So you can see now this is the active. As I over to the other slide, it changed to green. So the passive ones are yellow. So then you can see now So apart from that, there's still one other thing we call animation. Flash animations are just some flash effect that you can drop on your page. So let's say I want something like a cloud. Okay, it's slowing down the system. You need to wait a while. Okay, let's just wait and see why the work is being delayed. Okay, I'm removing the flash because it's delaying the work. So that's what we have on the header. But from the home, once I click on the header, it jumps me from home to the header side of the page. No, now let's move ahead and change some things. So let's assume from the background here, I need a gradient color on the background. So click on it. The gradient color has been added, but it's not that professional the way I want it, so I'm removing it, taking it back to the empty gradient, or I'll just undo to hasten up the work. So this is what I have now. Then if there are some effect, lightning effect that we can add to the page, so I can come down here. There are different lightning effect here. Let's say I'll prefer to add the dark part of the lightning effect because of some I've already used white here, white background, for it to reflect. So if you can see that the effect is there now, so or I can change to a different effect. So you can see the effect here now. Now I want to click on the navigation bar now. Okay, that's what we have here. Then you can from files and so on and so forth. So I click on the navigation bar now to take me to the navigation side of the page. So you can see the menu. So if the menu I have here, I'm not satisfied with it, I can simply suggest menu, because so if I'm okay with the menu that I have here, I have the length. So let's say I want the length to be page width. Okay, let me turn the length to this so that I can still suggest menu, because what I have there, I'm not satisfied with it, to give me a better now I think I'm okay now with the menu. But one thing about the menu is, okay, this is the position at the top. If you want to put a kind of space in between, you can also set it from here. So you can see now, as I move down, that means there will be a space between the navigation bar and the menu. Or you take the menu up and navigation down, the menu up and the header down. So there's one other thing that I've omitted from the, okay, I think I'm okay with the menu I have here. So on this animation, the first image, the first slide image, I don't want to use it again, so I just right click on it. I can say delete slide. So the slide will be deleted, remaining 5 more slides. So I'm going back to the menus now. So the menu area, this is the fill color. I'm not satisfied at all with the fill color, so I'll use additional, just like a blank. So I have homes, nutrition and all those things there. Now we have what we call, this is the length of margin between the menu and the top part of the page. This is the top margin. You can see now. Let me use 10 pixel so that there will be a kind of space between the browser and the menu. So we have what we call active and passive. The active and passive allow us to design the menu item a little bit for us. So but I'm not using any active and passive because I'm already okay with what I have there. So the only thing that I just need is the color. Okay, let's say I want to add texture to the menu area, so I'll put something like this. Okay, let me use something like this so that people can identify. Now one thing is this, because I have chosen an empty color, it's going to return it back to the default color. So I will rather use a color that looks a little bit similar to the background. You can see what I have now. Looks a little bit professional. And now on this, now I have home. But if you look at the website itself, let me check other navigation bars. There is much of red. In fact, area where we don't even have much red, we don't have red. So all I'll do is I will change this one to a complete red color, and then not a dark brown okay, let me just click on the menu. Then we have menu area, we have menu item, we have menu area, we have menu item. So the shape, the size, but I'm okay, I'm not going to touch any of it because so the size is okay, the shape is okay, and the separator is okay too. But sometimes you might want to use a faded separator like this. So you can see now that it's a little bit different from the former one we have. And we have texture. Now texture is just giving it a more professional look. So the menu item already have a texture, but when using texture, sometimes it might change. Okay, you can see what it has done now. So I don't need a texture, or I can use any of this texture. The top texture will not affect the page, because there are some texture that actually come with a color from the item here. There's some texture that come with a color. So I will rather put it on blank. You can see what the texture will do for me. Okay, so on the item now we have gradient. It depends on if you want to add gradient too. On the, you can see this is special, these are special gradient on the item. On each item there will be kind of a special gradient. And there's what we call coloring. Coloring is talking about the way you want to color your page. If you want both your active and passive to be of the same color, then you choose. So it's going to be blank like this. Or if you want your active and passive to be something like this, so it's going to be like that. So that even when you will not know the current page that you are working on. So that's what, unless you hover to any of the page, and you can say active now. So the built-in active and passive will give you the background for the menu. when you come to active now, the field for the active should be something like a red color. Okay, I'm taking this. You can see the active now. So once you hover on it, the color will change. So the active now, then the passive will be white. So the passive now, you can also change it if you want it, but it's better to leave it as it is, because you want it to be a blank, something like this, to appear on the page. And then the hover, you can change the color of the hover to something similar to what we have here. Let me change it to something like blue. We just need to be considerate about the color that we are using, because of okay, let me use something like this, or let's go for brown. Let's go for brown because of our backgrounds and the navigations. So let's use this. So you can see now, as I'm hovering on it, it's giving me the brown theme. So that is how exactly it works. And the level is talking about a sub level. That means if you have all other menus under each one, so you can change the multi-level if you want it to have multi columns like this and this and so on. So sub menu area, the shape, that is for the sub menu, the menu under home, and the menu under nutrition. So you can just set it just like the way we have been setting other ones. So menu size, radius, and over and active, and so pages. If you want all the pages to show in the menu, then it will show all the pages in the menu here. That's from the menu. We've talked about menu, we've talked about header, then we've talked about backgrounds. So the only thing we are left with is the let's go to edit, because these things work almost they work together. So when you click on the background, it takes you to the background. When you click on the header, it takes you to the header part of the page. Any part of the page that you click on, it's a very active header page place that will take you to the part of the page. So once I click on this, you can see where it takes me to the layout. So I click on this, it takes me to the whole sheet. So this is talking about the sheet. So if I come down here and I start moving to editing, color, layout, content, and so sheet and all other ones, it's still the same thing as coming down to the page and clicking a section that you want to adjust on the page. Let's say I want to adjust this down section, this down section. Once I click on it, what happens now is it takes me to the edit, because it seems as if I want to edit the color, the text. Now I click on the page, now it takes me down. So now we are left with this edit. Of course, edit, you should know. So in the advert, maybe you've seen any of our advert, what we say is anybody that's coming up for something like this, so have a knowledge of Microsoft Word, which is all what we have. It's a copy, cut, paste, bold. This is talking about the H1. H1 is heading 1. So the H1 is talking about the size of the text. You can see now. Also, once you click on the area and you give it H1 or paragraph, so you can see what we have here. So another thing is the bold. Let's assume you want the area of this text to be bold. You can click on bold, just a little bit bolder than what we have here. You can unbold it again by clicking on the B again. The italic, I don't need to talk much on that, because I want to believe anybody that's taking of this thing already have knowledge about Microsoft Office Word. So this is raised to power 2, to base. That's source script. This is subscript and this is superscript to the top and bottom. And this is shadow. Adding shadow to the text is so I'm adding shadow to the text now, and we have what we call a quotes. This is the highlight color. Let's say you have a very important part. So once you click on you highlight the area, then you give it a color. So the area will be marked with the color, and this is a quote. So if you want to code this area, just click on the quote, and it will be quoted as a quote. And so that is all other things. You should be able to work with bullets and paragraph and then tab. So another thing that we need to work on, that we have not worked on before, is the content layout. One thing about any professional website is the way the content of the website is being laid out. Now let's assume I have something like this content layout. I have different type of content layout here. This is a front page content layout, and it depends on the way I want to lay it out. Let's assume this 1 2 3 4. So once I click on this, let's say I want just three layouts. So I have this, I have this, I have this. So because we are using a theme from the template from new project from my template, so because we click on new and we choose from templates here, that is why all this image seems as if but when we are exporting our templates, all these images are not going to be there, except we decide to export it. But all the one that we added, like the banners that we added by ourselves, will be there. So the layouts now, that's talking about the whole content layout. I have chosen 3 columns. That means on the website I will be able to place something here, another thing here, another thing here. That is, except all these ones are sidebars. All these sidebars will be there, sidebar will be there. So on the layouts now, which I have this, then if I'm not satisfied with this, I can come down here and turn it to another thing entirely. You can see what I have here. So I click OK, which will turn these simple ones to another thing entirely. So I'm on the layout now. I can add another layout. Don't forget, all these things are the way you want to lay the front page of your website. Whenever you open up your website, the first thing that attracts you is the front page of the website. How is the content being laid out? So when you click on it like that, you can choose. It depends on the way you want to lay it out. But as a professional web developer, you should be able to draw down the layout of your website before you bring it out. So let's say you draw the layout of your website, and it is the layout that you'll be working on, just like a building engineer that I cannot just start developing something without drawing it down. For your work to be a little bit much faster and looks professional, you have to pen it down. So that is one of the phases that you have to undergo before starting up the work. So you pen it down the way you want to lay it out. That's from the front page. So you just click on what, so you can add more layout styles. So it all depends on you, and that's from here, from layout. And another thing is the row. You can add color to the rows and textures. You can as well, you know how all these things work. Then margin, you can add margin. Margin is just like a line drawn around the shape. You can see this is the shape, and you can see the margin that is drawn around it. I have no margin. That means there is no margin that is drawn around the shape, so I'll use one. Under here we have separators too. I have top separator. I can add top separator to the, so you can see that there's a separator here, and that separates the this from the top page. Then I have other things like from the row we have other separators too. I have bottom separators too. I can also use a bottom separator. So there's a button separator here, so it's going to separate this and this. Another thing is the weight. This is 1 pixel. I can use 5 pixels. It depends on how thick I want the separator to be. But in a professional, when you are designing a professional website, you don't use a very thick. It just look as if you. So separator or no separator you can use, and you can insert row. So if you are here, let's say you click here, okay, on the sheet, okay, from the sheet, from the edit, you can insert another row before or after, or you can also delete as well. Then columns, then you can add columns and or turn the columns to a simple column. So one thing about just like the way we have it in the first place, about all these things is you just need to work around. They are very simple and easy to understand. Another thing is the radius, which you already know. Padding is talking about the content. This is shape, but the content, you want a space to be in between the content and the border of the shape. That is what padding works for. Let me use 3 pixels. And it says inside each one, do you want to give it a color? So everything we work on here is just what you see, what you see. So what you see as you work with it, it turns to another thing. Another thing is a hyperlink. When you highlight a text, hyperlink is just a way of taking it to a website address. Let me say I have a browser here and I need a link down to Facebook. So I will just type the Facebook URL. Okay, I'll copy the URL. Of course, it's going to take me down to the page. So I'll paste the URL here. So this is the URL, or you can come down here to browse the URL. If you are navigating to an external URL, it should be in form of this, or if it is internal, it should be in form of this. So this is an external, so you paste it and okay like that. But if it is internal, just click here, then that means you are taking it down to other pages here. So just click on OK, and or you can type slash the address target. Do you want it to be, you want the page to load on itself, or the top, or a blank or parent? So a blank will take it to open up a page, a browser page, and the screen tips is just talking about navigation to once you place your mouse, okay, navigation to nutrition. So once I click on OK, now once my mouse is on it, what happens? It shows navigation to nutrition. So that is just the hyperlink, and that's how hyperlink work. So if I come down and preview this one in the web browser, of course it can also be previewed in web browser to see your work. Let's wait for the browser to come up. So, and once I click on this, what happens? It takes me back to the nutrition part of the page. So it does not load the nutrition on the same page, but because I've used a blank, it takes it to another page. You can see how it's loading it on a blank new page. So at the end, this is how your website will looks like. Well, we're still working on it, and so that's hyperlink. Image is adding image. Of course, you can add image now to a website, or you can add from your clip art from URL. That means from a website. These are clip arts. you need to make money online, you need to make, so these are blogs, and you can add, and so on and so forth. So on the image itself, you can edit the image. Just come down to the, now okay, let's wait and let me show you. Okay, let's assume you are adding an image here from clipart. We have a lot of image here. Maybe you need a law firm. This looks like a kind of a law firm image. So as big as the image is, you can still do some editing on the image. Now this is the image, this is the width. If it's too big, you can reduce the width of the image. So the height, then the scale is 40. Let's turn it to something like 100%. Okay, let's use 80%. So then preview, yes. Alt text is a text that display if there's the browser did not load the image in time. Maybe it has been disabled from the web browser, image loading has been disabled from the web browser, or maybe there's error with internet connection and it does not load up the image. Alt text is a text that we call it's not alt, it's alternate text. That means if this option of showing the image is not available, then let's take it, what will come up. Then the inline is the position of the text. We will take it to the left side of the page, or in line with the text, or right. So it takes it back to the, then the border is the border that will be drawing around the shape. Then we have the margin top, that's the margin, the spacing between the top and the image, bottom and image, left and image, right and image. You can access it. The link is simply talking about where do you want it. Let's say I want it to take me to Essence Nutrition. So target, do you want top? I want it to be safe. So the other one, the screen text will be what to display. Just close this and let's preview this page again in web browser. Of course, as a beginner, you can completely use this artist here to develop a website and make money from it. Okay, so once I click on the, what happen, it loads it on the same page, not that it takes it to another page like the former one that the link will take us to another page entirely. So from the, you can see 1 2 3 4. So once you click on this, it takes us back to another page. But once you click on this, what happens? It's loaded on that same page. It loads Essence of Nutrition on this same page. So that is how it's work. So that is on the image, and okay, well, I don't need an image, so I will remove it. Of course, you can change the image from here. Clip path. So the size of the image can also be altered, or you can come down here. Okay, you are adding more image now. That means we have 2 image. So if we preview this now, if we preview this in web browser, I think it should be showing something like a slide. So one thing about website designing is time and patience. So you can see that it's also displaying slide animation here. Just two. The first one is taking us somewhere, while the other one is not taking us to any place. So that is how it's work. So so that is I can only add more slides now. I can delete slides. So I can come down here and say I don't need this one. I can change image by right clicking. I can edit hyperlink image option. Now if you are an HTML developer before, you can come down here, so you can edit something. Let's say the image is too wide. This is the width of the image. and the height is 140. So and so on and so forth. So it will reduce the size of the image, and so that is what I have here. And we have videos. Let me come down here. We have videos. So copy the HTML code from the page with video to paste here. One thing about this thing is if you want video to be displayed on your website, and it depends on the URL of the video. That's what we call YouTube channel. If you attend my live training on this training issue, I will show you how to copy the YouTube URL, and if you visit some of my blog, then if you ask questions concerning that, I can attend to you. If you are sharing a video on your website, it's very easy to share the video, because there's a way you click copy the embedded file. So if you copy the embedded file, you just paste the embedded file here, and that is all. So if you want it to allow full screen, you can set it to yes, but until you copy the embedded file, this size will not be, all this area will not be active. That's what we have on the video. We have tables. So if you are adding tables, of course the table will be added, and which you can add some things, and so this is table. You can fill the grid. You can see the table now. Now these are controls. Now let me delete the table. I don't need the table. I'm deleting the table. So if you have worked with Microsoft Word, all this thing, all this area will be very easy to use. So that's on the table, and then the HTML is for HTML coder. So that is what we have there. And going to font and color, we are okay with the color here. You can suggest color, you can suggest theme, and if the theme that we have designed, you want to save it for future, you can save theme. Let me say I want to say training. Of course you can design thousands of professional theme with Artisia, and it's just